or something.
We defined what cosmic horror is and connected it to Mass Effect. Then we fixed the unfixable in Rings of Power. And now you want to pause and do a top 10 video?
Maybe?
Maybe later. But for now, let's break down the meaning of life and giant robots.
The meaning of life? And giant robots?
Yes, the meaning of life and giant robots. What more could you want? I speak, of course, about the cult classic anime and manga Gurren Lagann. If you're not familiar with the show or comic, no sweat.
I've never heard of it. I think it's too complicated for you.
Just who the hell do you think I am? This is what you get for sleeping through the Lorebound lectures. We'll break down this story to be as simple as possible. It starts with society living underground. Their history and their world is unknown to them. This mirrors a lot with Plato's The Allegory of the Cave, which we might actually do a video on one day in the future. The world is ruled by the Spiral King, and humanity is kept in these underground caves, isolated and alone, while beastmen roam the surface. The protagonists are Simon and Kamina. The Simon character is young and unsure of himself, but he has an older guide and mentor in his friend Kamina. Simon unearths a strange key in the shape of a drill called a core drill and a small mech, which for those who don't know anime, these are called gunmen. This is the inciting action which triggers a larger mech or gunman to attack the town. In the action, the two protagonists break through to the surface. Kamina gets his own mech and they form a new super mech called Gurren Lagann. Other humans join in and they take the fight to the enemy, capturing the enemy's walking fortress. It is here that Kamina leaves Simon after dying in battle.
How selfish, dying in battle.
Simon has a hard time coming to terms as these gunmen operate on spiral energy, which is shown to be the self-confidence to overcome adversity, to evolve past what you are given.
Simon, don't believe in yourself. Huh? Believe in me. Believe in the Kamina who believes in you.
Kamina would say this to Simon to help encourage him to unleash that spiral energy.
What are you doing? You could have been killed! How long are you gonna keep running, Simon? Now's the time to cast off the boy you used to be. It's now or never.
Kamina was the conscience of Simon, the inner drive, the master who told him to push himself. Struggling with finding his inner voice, Simon eventually overcomes this despair, and he defeats the Spiral King. Humanity moves to the surface and builds a new city, Kamina City. Once 1 million humans are on the surface, this activates an alien race known as the Anti-Spirals. Maybe it sounds better in Japanese.
Anti-spiral.
Either way, the Anti-Spirals have armed the moon to be a massive super weapon.
As one does.
That's no moon.
The moon, of course, is just another obstacle to defeat, a big one. This scales up and up until the Anti-Spirals are defeated and humanity wins.
I hate it when that happens.
It's a cycle of running into struggles, having self-belief in your abilities, and pushing past that to unlock the next phase. But there is always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
This isn't just something that Jedi believe in. Oh no. This is something that 4 real-world religions believe in and 1 real-world philosophy. Now, religion is deeply personal, and while I am in the Lorebound College, there's actually no religious classes. These 5 philosophies, while ordered here, each offer a unique perspective on self-improvement and realization. Their placement isn't the key. The real connection lies in how they parallel the themes explored in Gurren Lagann. As Kamina says, your drill is the drill that will pierce the heavens. So let us begin piercing through the heavens of spiritual growth. The religions we'll look at are the 3 big ones of reincarnation. We'll look at Buddhism, Jainism, and Hinduism. We will then look at the New Age religion of Ekankar. Lastly, we will look at the non-religious movement of transhumanism. Again, placement of the religions does not signify one is greater than the other. On the contrary, all the religions state humanity begins in roughly the same patch, the cave.
Oh, but what if the Initiate's religion isn't on the list?
If the initiate's religion is applicable, I'd love to hear about it. I'm sorry, Initiate, I couldn't hear you.
If only there was a way to leave a comment on a video. If only.
We start in the cave. The cave, this is the early struggles, low tech, associated with the religion of Buddhism and the teaching of the Four Noble Truths and the path of enlightenment. In Buddhism, the path begins with a deep understanding of suffering, or dukkha, the realization of the impermanence of all things. The protagonist's time in the cave symbolizes the starting point, recognizing ignorance, the root of all suffering, and setting out to understand it. The Buddhist teaching that life is suffering aligns with the cave metaphor, where the protagonist is, at the beginning of the journey, to confront and overcome this suffering through mindfulness and insight. The Buddhist concept of the Noble Eightfold Path could be symbolized by the protagonist learning how to take the right actions and live a disciplined life, and engage in the right mindfulness during the stage. Stage 2 is the surface scavengers and early growth and transitioning of tech. The associated religion that we're going to look at is Jainism. Jainism teaches to progress spiritually, one must avoid harm, which is ahimsa, to any living being, whether physical or mental. As the protagonist enters the surface world and interacts with others, they begin to realize that true enlightenment is not just about personal growth, but about reducing suffering for others and acting in ways that preserve peace. The protagonist might face their temptation to use their growing power for harm, but the Jain principle of nonviolence helps guide them towards making ethical decisions. Now, naturally in an anime show, there's bound to be some harm to others, but the protagonist shows mercy and wisdom in how he fights, turning would-be enemies into allies and defending the weak. The Jain concept, karma, could be introduced at this stage, where the protagonist's actions begin to shape their future and their destiny. Part 3, the established city, maturity, and full mech evolution. The associated religion is Hinduism, teaching of karma and dharma. By the time the protagonist reaches maturity and the full potential of their mech, they begin to realize their place in the greater structure of life. In Hinduism, dharma refers to living in accordance to one's divine purpose, and karma is the law of cause and effect that shapes the soul's journey through cycles of birth and death. The protagonist's full mech is a manifestation of their dharma. They must understand their responsibility to others and their duty to protect, but also the consequences of their actions. The Hindu concept of moksha, which is spiritual liberation, could be part of the protagonist's understanding that full realization of their duty is required to free them from the cycle of suffering, or samsara, as the Hindus say. Number 4 is the battlefield, which is the climax and the ultimate struggle. Associated religion is Ekankar. Ekankar teaches that the soul is eternal, and that spiritual liberation is achieved through soul travel and deep inner exploration of the divine. In this phase, the protagonist is faced with their ultimate test and must travel beyond themselves to discover their true nature. This aligns with Ekankar's belief in exploring the higher planes of existence and seeing beyond the physical reality to gain wisdom and spiritual enlightenment. Ekankar's concept of soul mastery, which is the achievement of true enlightenment by learning to control and ascend the limitations of the physical body, leading through true ultimate freedom, can be seen in stage 4. Number 5, the beyond and ascension. Transformation, evolution, beyond the self. This is associated with the philosophy of transhumanism. The teaching here is about post-human evolution and the pursuit of technological and cognitive advancement. In the final stage, the protagonist transcends the limitation of their physical form and evolves into something greater. As the protagonist ascends beyond the physical form, they achieve a new state of enlightenment, where they are not only in control of their mech, but also can transcend it, evolving into a new type of existence, beyond that of a human, beyond a machine, an advanced being capable of changing the course of reality and history. The transhuman concept of the singularity is the idea that through technology we can surpass the limitations of our biology and even achieve immortality. To summarize, Buddhism is in the cave, recognizing suffering and impermanence and the starting of the path to enlightenment. Jainism is on the surface, realizing the interconnectedness of all living beings, striving to reduce harm and act ethically. Hinduism is in the established city. It's about understanding the duty, which is dharma, karma, and working towards the liberation, which is moksha. Ekankar is on the battlefields. Here, soul travel and the ultimate realization through inner exploration and the divine understanding. Transhumanism is the beyond, the technological transcendence of the self and the achieving the ultimate evolution beyond humanity. Again, there's elements of all these philosophies and all the different levels. The philosophy of Gurren Lagann was surprisingly deep.
The anime shows I watch are very different and usually involve...
I think those kinds of cartoons are called something else. Our channel is very young, and I'm hoping this and some of our future episodes can show the breadth of content we're able to achieve.
Don't get all sentimental on me yet. We've got hundreds of episode ideas to go through.
You're right, we do. But next episode we have a big assignment from the Lorebound library.
An assignment? We'll ace it. You do all the work, and I'll be the morale officer. Call me Commissar Chatterwicks.
No, Imp, we have guests. They're gonna see a room, and we have to entertain them. We have a Protoss, a Vulcan, a Minbari, and an Asari.
And we make them complete to see who's the best wise alien warrior.
A contest between 4 of the most well-known wise alien races.
A battle of the ages? Or, considering how wise they are, a battle of the sages.
I will need to add another component to my medieval computer for this. I will add a rich. Hey all, Future Lore Master here, putting the finishing touches on my potato medieval computer for this edit, listening to the show's amazing soundtrack to put me in the mood. I watched Gurren Lagann only 2 years ago for the first time, and I've always struggled to find a great anime that truly touched me the way it had. The story of overcoming struggles, growing and evolving is timeless. Whether we're facing life struggles or working on a new YouTube video channel after well over 10 years of debating doing so. Brave in having a stutter and a stammer. So, to my lore masters out there, remember the story of growth that Gurren Lagann is. Remember that the hesitation is just the anti-spirals keeping you from unfolding your own path of wisdom and success. Don't be afraid to check out some of these beliefs to see if they interest you. Believe in the lore master who believes in you, and make your own drill to pierce the heavens. Well, Initiate, thank you for stopping by. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Gurren Lagann isn't exactly a hot topic being from 2007, but I found it so deep, and I just couldn't wait to dive into it and explore these concepts. If you like these deep dives, hit that subscribe and like button and help us pass the Lorebound exams. See you next time, Lore Masters.